And here I am again, asking a question that everybody is driven by in our field. How can you measure the activities and the success or failure of sales enablement field readiness? How can you do that? Today I'm talking to Britta, who is an expert in this field, and she can answer this question really quite short and direct.
I do see that we do have a chance to measure the impact of our enablement activities on the field.
That was pretty clear. Now let's dive deeper, as she mentioned that
We have directly related KPIs from enablement and lagging KPIs.
direct things are things you measure at a given time. So it's almost like a screenshot of something. Lagging means you need to let pass a period of time before you can have measurements and results such as
The customer performance indicators. So I would really say we should not only always focus on sales productivity, sales efficiency, and sales readiness. Also put your goggles on and look at how does your customer receive you? How are your customer performance indicators? Because if they are at a really good level, they have a direct influence on your key performance indicators, and it makes a sound picture.
Let's focus first on the direct numbers we have at hand.
Obviously, how many people do we have enrolled in our enablement programs? How many people run through the program? How many people get certified on specific methodologies we offer? How are coaching activities taken up? How many times do they actually go to a real coaching? And when I'm speaking about coaching, I'm not saying forecast coaching or forecast calls. It's really the coaching activity per se.
It is all about how active somebody is, the individual is, and how scalable the offered enablement is. But it's not all about quantity. You also need to look at
Efficiency. How many times do salespeople reach out? How many personalized messages do they send out per week, per month, however you want to define your cadence? How many calls are effectively completed? How many calls do we have with a real value message in there? Which implies we have to have a system in place which is able to monitor those calls, obviously. So it's either call shadowing or we use a technology to follow those calls.
But there is not one recipe for all.
Each company needs to define their own enablement KPIs. I don't think there is one size fits all module.
Nevertheless, the ingredients are the same. Just have a look at
The standard classic ones like increased win rate, average deal size in general, as well as average deal size of a seller as the individual or as the sales team. Because I really like to think about sales teams in our today's life. It's not just a one single person running straight out on the street selling things. It's always a team included in the whole effort.
selling like a family, or it takes a village to sell. I think everybody heard these sentences already. Especially when somebody's new in the job, you can measure things like
time to the first deal closing, time to revenue. How long does it take a new onboarded salesperson to actually complete the first win?
And if people become a high performer, just take them as a role model for all the others. But is that as easy?
Just out of the blue? No. But if you actually go into the extra mile of doing an analysis of saying, okay, we have an established salesperson within the team. We go into a gap analysis. How are they completing their tasks? What are they doing at this moment of time? So we have a status quo. And now we apply, based on the status quo, specific activities or programs, and then see how does the performance of this person or team change. Then we can tie it back.
And exactly with those patterns we can work to enable others, but
we have to be aware that it takes time. My thumb of rule is at least the deal cycle time is the time we need to give enablement to show first impact.
And now let's go back to the lagging measurements.
Don't leave the customer out of the equation. They need to adjust to the change what we are doing. They have to see the differences. They have to feel the additional value and understand that. And then after this specific time, we can make the comparison of what happened before and how are we doing today.
The customer is the one point where all our efforts are coming together. Our field enablement, field readiness, return on investment is visible there.
Number one recommendation, do a win-loss analysis. But don't do it yourself, because a customer will, I would dare to say 90% not give you an honest answer.
The way you look at this is important. It has to be a process.
Where you have qualitative as well as quantitative data in there, what you want to explore and discover. And that's a way how you get feedback, how you can gain insights of what was the customer's perspective and what did they feel, what were the reasons why they didn't close, was the message not clear?
Or did we, as sales, miss something as important that it led to losing this opportunity? We need to leverage this high level, high content quality approach, because at the end of the day,
it's always people buying from people, and that's also something which might be underestimated in the overall equation.
But it is not all about what we can measure. Not everything gives us the picture we are looking for.
Align with your stakeholders. What do they want to have measured? Because just because you think that's the thing I want to measure doesn't mean that that's also the things the stakeholders are looking at. So it always has to be an aligned, collaborative approach.
We're all sitting together in the same storm. We simply have to find out what every individual boat really needs.
So find out what your stakeholders want, tell them what you can deliver. Sometimes they have a dream version, like a Walt Disney version of dashboards.
Not to forget about,
the time when you can show impact should be also clearly communicated to your stakeholders. So they don't run at you and say like, hey, you told me you can tell me impact and the value and yada yada, the whole story. But you're just 1 quarter down the line. Hello, that's not gonna work. So really set the expectations clear from the beginning.
And sync with the whole family. And I'm talking about also uncles and cousins. Really everybody should be involved. And if you take care of all those variables, you will be able to measure the success. Happy coaching.